Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for joining Ryan and I on this call today to discuss and demonstrate to you what is new in our COVID-19 screening aid. So a lot of you are current COVID-19 screening aid customers, and you're curious to see what some of our new add-on modules are and some of the new features that we have already released actually a little earlier, and you might have not noticed because you spend most of your time in the response listing button section. So I'm not going to spend too much time on sort of the basics of the COVID-19 screening aid solution, although some of you that are on this call maybe are not using the solution yet and just intrigued by it, or are potentially waiting on one of those specific features that we are announcing today as live and doing our video presentation on. So once you see those features, hopefully that will convince you that the COVID-19 screening aid web app is the right solution for your pre-entry COVID-19 screening and self-assessment. So without further ado, I believe all your microphones are now been muted by Ryan. If you can't see the standard 4 buttons, or really the standard 3 buttons plus the add-on button of the Manage Custom Questions on your screens, please use the chat text box there to let Ryan know, and he'll figure that out and make sure you can see the screen that I'm sharing with you. So let's jump into what's new in the COVID-19 screening aid solution since we released it in October of last year, and we can then maybe discuss in greater detail some of the more powerful new features or add-on modules. So out of the gate, let's start maybe with this one here, because many of you that are even customers don't have necessarily this black button enabled, as it was not a feature we acquire. So this is our custom questions manager, and we created this to effectively add an additional set of questions when the recommended ones by the province and really mandated by the province to do the sort of pre-entry self-assessment and screening for COVID-19 were not enough. So question 1, question 2, question 3, and question 4 are your standard questions. And if that wasn't enough for your organization, you wanted so much more granular language, maybe language and questions that are more direct and in relation to the industry that you're in, no problem. With this add-on module, you just add it on to your current COVID-19 subscription. You're able to add question 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and all these little secondary questions underneath the primary question, depending on how you want your questionnaire form to look like. So here you go. Question 5, 6, and 7 are these additional questions that were created via the Custom Questions Manager. So let me maybe show you how that's done. You can do new question, and if you hit the new question button, you can type your question away and do whatever you like, and obviously save that. I'm going to go in and maybe edit a question here, and speak a little bit about some of the features of Question Manager. So again, you can type the question, you can make it whatever you like. The outcome inclusion is a very powerful feature that some of you have really clued in on, and based on feedback have really enjoyed. And what it is if you select something and say outcome inclusion no, effectively this question here becomes a survey only question. So it doesn't matter if someone answers yes, no, it has no impact on the assessment and the employee being cleared or not cleared. Now, in this case, this is a type of question that I would definitely want to be part of the COVID-19 self-assessment. I think it really should matter if they say yes or no, and if they say yes to having a fever, you don't want them to be cleared. So this type of question, I would say, is outcome inclusion yes, as in it's not just a survey question. And again, you can type whatever you like here. It makes no difference what wording you use. Just form the question in a way that if it is an assessment question and part of your assessment questionnaire for clearing the employee, if they answer yes, that's bad, and it marks them as red and not cleared. And if they answer no to the question, that's good, And if they answer no to all the questions really that are part of the assessment, no, then they are cleared. So let me give you an example of another question that is here. So this one is a survey only question. Why? Because outcome inclusions no. Again, we don't care if the employee says yes or no to this question. We are using this simply, and we've noticed this has worked very well for a lot of our customers, as a survey-like question to find out. Maybe once a month they put this question into their questionnaire and go, and do you require more PPE supplies at your job site, at your workplace, in your work area, whatever it is. So again, because it's a survey-only question, and to make it a survey-only question, you say it has no bearing on the outcome of the assessment, so you choose no for the outcome. Does not matter if they say yes or no to this question. It will not impact their being cleared or not cleared in their assessment. And again, if you only want to show this once a month, you simply mark no, you don't want to show this anymore, hit save, and that question about more PPE for your job site, when you do the preview question section, it's gone. It's no longer part of the assessment questionnaire. But this one still is the one, do you have a fever? And this one was definitely not a survey-like question. So if you say yes, you're not going to pass the assessment. If you say no, and obviously say no to all these other questions, you will get cleared to enter the workplace. So I hope that's clear. If you need a more in-depth demonstration of this add-on module, please don't hesitate to reach out to your specific Websdepot contact, or even drop a note right now in the text box there for Ryan, and he'll make note of that and make sure someone gets back to you to give you an in-person demonstration or share some other materials on this add-on for you. But the very last thing I'll touch upon is, again, how you add those secondary questions. So this is the primary question here that you would pose, and again, you can edit it as much as you want, again, like my previous examples, but to create those A, B, C, D, E, F, G secondary questions, that's done here. So again, if I'm clicking a little too quick, because I know this maybe inside and out now, it's this icon here that will bring you into the secondary question. And again, you can formulate and edit these questions to say whatever you like. So hopefully that helps, but a very easy way to design effectively what you're doing through the custom questions manager is designing your custom screening questionnaire form. So that's what this whole module accomplishes. You are able to customize it beyond the question 1, 2, 3, and 4 standard questions that were recommended and mandated by the province. Okay, so I'll jump out of this section now. Hopefully that is clear, and we will jump into now our newest, and I think really another extremely powerful add-on module that we put inside of our company information and scheduling section, and it is this button here. So for all of you current users of the COVID-19 screening aid, what you're used to seeing is this screen here, and I'll bring that up in a different browser, and hopefully you can see that well. So normally we would have this screen where obviously you can put your company name in here. Here's where you allow the department and groups. So if you don't want to have departments and groups sorting and categorization when you're creating new employees, you would uncheck that here. But we find everyone really appreciates this sorting mechanism for, especially when your organization starts growing beyond 100 employees. So this feature here can be turned on and off. Most people turn it on and leave it on, because once you do start adding departments and categorizing your employees that way in the employee section, you really don't want to turn that off. Choose file, again, I'm very quickly doing this for someone who is new to the COVID-19 screening aid. Choose file is you grab a graphics file to create the logo, and this logo your employees will see when they're filling out the questionnaire every morning, afternoon, whatever their schedule is. And this section here is where all of you are now setting up, when do I send out that automated scheduled message on a daily basis asking my employees to do the screening before they enter the workplace. So in most of your cases, you're doing a Monday to Friday, I think, and you're blasting that out sometime in the morning. And and that's how it's worked up to this point. But we received obviously quite a few requests, especially from our manufacturing customers that were using the solution who have shifts, and they wanted to be able to send to 100 employees at 6 a.m. the screening, but then to another group of 100 employees or 200 employees at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. the screening, because that's their afternoon shift. They didn't want to have a huge gap in between the reminder being sent out and when the actual shift started and when they would actually be potentially entering the workplace, or they didn't want them listed as unanswered in terms of in the response status for the next 6 hours, because they're still sleeping, they're not coming in until the afternoon shift. So we added a feature in that extra module that I will now go back to and discuss, but this is what you normally see if you don't subscribe to an add-on to your regular subscription, the custom schedules shift module. And that is, if you do subscribe to that and order that on a monthly basis, what happens is you get this button. And you click on that button and in you go. And here's something that we created. A few of you that are on the call today with me assisted us in testing this. Thank you for doing that pilot with us. We couldn't make this as simple yet as powerful without your input. And effectively what this is now the custom schedules or shifts module, where you can create as many schedules as you want, and then these schedules get assigned to your employees. So before you would have one schedule only. So let's say that was schedule 1, and everyone at 5:30 a.m. Monday to Friday is getting that link effectively that they'll click on their smartphone, and they'll get that either via email or via text. They'll click on that link, they'll open the page to fill out the questionnaire in 10 seconds, and they're done, and you see that response real time. So nothing different here in terms of editing a schedule. You can still edit the schedule like you always could. You can adjust the time as required. Actually, for our schedule 1 and all the people that are assigned to schedule 1, let's now do 6 a.m. 5:30 a.m. was a little too early to send that to them, so that gets applied right away, and here's the new time right now. And you may have now part-timers, so you have a part-timer that only makes sense for them to get screened on the days they come into work, which happens to be Saturday and Sunday in the evening. So you would go in here, create your new schedule. You can call it your part-time schedule, and in their case, Sunday, Saturday, and we're picking, so if they're coming in let's say 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we want to make sure this hits them around 4 o'clock. So it gives them a good hour, but reminds them, hey, you guys are coming in for Sunday or Saturday, and Saturday, please do the assessment before you enter the workplace at 5 o'clock or whatever the shift schedule starts. But you want that reminder to hit them at 4 o'clock Sunday and Saturday. They don't need the rest of the week because they don't work and come in the rest of the week. So there you go. Close that. There's your schedule right now, and it exists. And again, you can create as many. It's unlimited schedules. So if truly you have more than like a morning schedule. And again, you can edit the wording so it's more clear. So we can say this one is afternoon shift, and it's more obvious. It is Monday to Friday, but they won't get that till noon. Let's actually do it even later for them, because they're coming in around 3 o'clock. So let's do about 2 p.m. So there you go. There's the afternoon shift schedule. Now, you've created these schedules. You have your afternoon shift. Let's say schedule 1's your morning shift. You have your shift for your odd a few part-timers that are coming in. Now we need to assign these. So that's where we go back into our Manage Employees and Visitors section. Again, all of you are very familiar with this section. What is new now is we have schedules. So you can sort by schedules, of course. You can sort by all these different columns. Department and groups, if you started using that, great. That's there as well. So why don't we now pick an employee, let's let's grab someone here. He's schedule 1, okay. And again, you're all familiar with this. I'm not going to get into too much detail about it. First name, last name, mobile number if you want to send them a text, a reminder with the link to do the daily screening and the self-assessment. But in this case, for this employee who said no, we want to send that to them via email, which is a yes. They are employee type. They are not administrators. They are not visitors. I'll cover maybe visitors in a second. And they are active, meaning they still work for us. They are part of a schedule and are receiving on a scheduled basis that reminder every day to fill out the screening. If you mark them inactive, they have no schedule. You could only come back here and activate it and send manually to them. They will not, if the minute you do inactive, that's it. They're not part of any schedule, and are no longer receiving that daily screening automatically. So I do want him to receive that, and he's schedule 1. So by default, everyone is that default schedule that you've all had. Again, that's this screen that you're all familiar with. That's kind of your schedule 1, your default schedule. As soon as you buy and purchase that add-on for the custom schedules and the shift module, you have the ability to add additional schedules. So not just this one, you'll have another one and another one. So that's what we're assigning here. So we created that part-time schedule. So Johnson is on the part-time schedule. He only comes in on that Saturday and Sunday. He will only get that email now to johnny@websdepot.com on that time that was created in the schedule. So I hope that's clear. So we hit save. And if we go looking for him right now, Johnson right here, you'll see that's updated now. He's part of the part-time schedule. And that part-time schedule, just so we remind ourselves, is in the custom schedules section and module. And it is Sunday, Saturday, 4 o'clock. So that's when that email will go out to Johnson, and he will fill out the questionnaire, which you can then view on our response listing screen. You can see, did he answer, did he not answer? So very quickly, just entering back into this new add-on custom module. Couple things. Yes, you absolutely can modify that schedule. So like you could before, when it was just one schedule available to you, you can still go in here and say, listen, he's now, this group of employees is now working more days of the week. You can add a day of the week. You can change, when that goes out. That's one option if something changes. So there you go. You've updated the schedule. So now it will be a different schedule for that employee who is assigned the part-time schedule. Or let's say you have a situation where you have 20 part-time employees assigned to this part-time schedule, and you realize, there's no sense to have an individual part-time schedule. You want to assess them daily, even if they're coming in or not coming in. We have a lot of customers doing that for work from home employees. They just want to have a certain health history. So even if they're not coming into the workplace, which is at question 4 in the questionnaire, are you coming into the workplace or do you intend to enter the workplace today? They still want to have that history of them, even if they're continually working from home. So let's say that's the case. You're like, I really don't need this part-time schedule anymore. It makes no sense to me. I want all of them to be part of Schedule 1, all those employees. So instead of going back, one option is, yes, we could go back into employees. We could find that employee and certainly edit that here. But that's a lot of work if you have 60 employees you need to do that for. So a neat feature, and thank you to the individual that is participating in this call today for that feedback and suggestion. And we were able to build that in with our development folks. What we now allow you to do is you can delete that schedule. So yes, we finally allow you to delete something in the COVID-19 screening aid solution. So you hit the little trash can to delete it. But before you delete that part-time schedule, it says, select the schedule to reassign to the employees after the selected schedule has been deleted. So effectively what's happening here is, let's say there's 20 people that are assigned the part-time schedule. You don't want to go into all those 20 employees and edit them all manually. You want them to now just be on schedule 1. So as you're deleting part-time schedule, you're saying all those that are in part-time schedule, switch them over to schedule 1 now. So we hit the little switch button. Part-time schedule got deleted as anticipated, and all those employees now got placed and moved automatically onto schedule 1, which is our sort of standard default schedule. If we go back and we look at that employee and go and find them, and you know what, let's just start typing, and that makes it easier, right? Here he is. Look, it now says schedule 1. We did not change that, it just changed automatically. And if we were to go back in here, part-time schedule is no longer available as an option. So I hope that's clear. And that in the gist is really this new add-on module. So again, you will receive and can have this button if you need more than one schedule for your employees. So again, if this no longer is enough, this view here that all 50 of your employees get 6 a.m. Monday to Friday, the reminder and the custom link for them to fill out their questionnaire for the self-assessment, then you need to effectively upgrade and purchase that add-on to your monthly subscription. And what that will do is it'll give you this button and this wonderful option here to create as many schedules as you want, and you can assign all those schedules to your employees. So I hope that's clear for this section. Let me touch on some other stuff that is new that maybe you have or you haven't noticed. So for a while, we've allowed everyone using the COVID-19 screening aid to also screen their visitors. So if you know someone's coming to your office, using this button, you could create a visitor as well. You could just type in visitor, and all you're doing is selecting visitor here in the type. And what that does automatically, when you select it as visitor type, one, we can filter by that in the views, but second, right away, that visitor is not part of any schedule. It is equivalent to an employee being inactive. So that's basically what a visitor is, and they're not part of any departments or anything like that as well, certainly. So you type the visitor's name, whatever it may be, and create them. So I believe we have one. Okay, so we have a contractor, let's say, that comes in on a regular basis, right? So we can even rename him Contractor Jim. He doesn't want to give us a cell phone. We've got an email for him. Okay, great. And we will hit save on that. And when we come back here, Contractor Jim, the only way we can send the screening to him is by hitting the envelope. So that's a manual send. You can do that for your employees as well. But all of them do have a schedule. So, based on a schedule, they will receive their link. But if you ever need to resend it, you can do it through this envelope. But for visitors, what you do is you always have to hit the envelope, to send that to them, and it will tell you, hey, it's been sent to him. So Contractor Jim should have got an email now, and he has to fill out that wonderful form before entering the workplace, the office, whatever it may be, to talk to you at your workplace. All right, so that's new in that we're allowing the sorting by visitor, and it was about a month or so ago that we added the functionality of screening visitors, not just employees. And one of the reasons this is no longer called employee response listing is that you can also view visitor listings here. And there are some other changes, so let's go into this as the final sort of what's new. So what you can't see here is that, well, first of all, there's Contractor Jim. He hasn't responded yet. It's unanswered. So that's hopefully very clear. But we've added some filters to make it easy for, especially those of you that are managing, 100 plus employees. Scrolling through that isn't always the easiest. And what we found, most of you are looking really for red, not cleared, as in, that they're showing symptoms, whatever it is. They traveled outside the country in the last 14 days. So they are not cleared based on the assessment. and you're looking for the grays, which are the unanswered. And again, a lot of you had to deal with a lot of unanswered if you had afternoon shifts. Now, because we've added this column of schedule, you can immediately sort of sort by schedules, but we also allow you to filter by schedules here. So you can just look at, okay, I want to look at my morning shift, schedule 1 people only, and did all of them answer? Okay, so the only one that hasn't answered yet is Jill. So Jill Gates, engineering department, and again, you can even sort if you want by engineering. Jill hasn't responded yet. Chris is absolutely fine here. Great, he's cleared, he's good to go. So that's a powerful feature. We've allowed you to do a lot more filtering, which I hope you find very helpful. And it's by schedule. So you're not sitting there worried going, how come it's unanswered for the afternoon shift people? Because you're looking just now at the morning shift people. And those are the ones you want to focus on, that they've answered and filled it out and are cleared to come in before actually stepping foot into your workplace. And then you want to look at, afternoon shift. And there's the afternoon shift. Oh, they're all cleared. And again, the afternoon shift will get their screening alert at a different time than the morning shift people. So hopefully that is very clear to you, but we've added these to allow you to view things very quickly. The last filter that I think is very powerful, especially if you have a very large group of employees, and all you want to look for, without even scrolling, all you want to find is just the red, the not cleared or the unanswered. For a particular, if it's all dates, no, that means that we're looking just at today's date. Obviously, this is just all today's date. We gave you this filter here. So show me who's cleared. And clearly the one everyone, again, really cares about, not cleared and unanswered. We really want to know and be aware if someone's coming in and they haven't answered yet. And we certainly want to know if someone's not cleared to come in, that we can call them and figure out what's going on and potentially, update the record. Now in this case, this is a visitor. So my very last filter that I wanted to show you is person type. If you do a lot of visitors and you're not just looking at employees and you are using this to screen your visitors, you have the ability just to filter by visitor. You have the ability to filter just by employees, and it will show you only employees. I hope that's clear to you, and these filters are helpful. The search has not gone away, so you can filter by, cleared. You can still type away name and have something show up depending on, it just immediately starts looking, right? So there you go. And the notes button still exists here. I think all of you are very familiar with it. So some of you are using it for temperature. So you will actually, if you're taking temperature at the front and they've done their screening already, you're putting things like temp OK. And that gets updated into that record for that day. And that will stay in there. If you see it's timestamped and you cannot delete or edit that. As I said, we don't allow very many things to be deleted, if anything, when it comes to any health sort of records and screenings, so that no one can corrupt or falsify any of the information, the screenings that came in. Now, if one of your employees, let's say, made a mistake or whatever it may be. Now, in this case, let's say it's the visitor, the traveling salesperson here that's coming to your office. And you go, hey, you can't come in. And he goes, oh, sorry, I clicked sore throat by mistake. I didn't mean it. And they go, okay. So, you can put a note, sore throat in error, or whatever it is, right? So they actually are kind of cleared, but you're putting a note there. But again, you can't modify any of this. Like, this is not editable. It is set in stone. Effectively, it's a record that's recorded, again, for audit purposes, for compliance, and all those wonderful things that should the government ever come knocking, certainly for your health and safety managers, any sort of HR folks, they want to make sure this is not being modified by a department supervisor or whatever it may be. So that's easy to update. So those features still are standard features, of course, and you enjoy them. And the very last one is export list. So we added in this feature. So anything that's on this screen, if you would like to manipulate any of this outside of the COVID-19 screening app, or you want to send it to someone in a spreadsheet, that's effectively this button here. So again, what it will do is it will take all these columns and put it into a spreadsheet for you. So that's all that button does. Again, it gives you a little warning saying, hey, you're about to export your response listing data based on the filter set. So if you need to, validate that your filters are exactly how you kind of want them. And when you hit export, it will automatically open up a CSV file in whatever is your local spreadsheet, most likely Excel for Microsoft. So hopefully that helps, and that was the last little feature request that we had a little while ago, and we thought it would implement that in this major release. So again, thank you for your time. If you have any additional questions, we will open up the floor, so to speak now. Ryan, if you could just get everyone's microphones unmuted now, and they can ask us those questions. And we'll end sort of the recording now, which I'm hoping this demo can get recycled, repurposed online for folks who are interested and want to see what's new in the COVID-19 screening aid, and helps them show some of the functionality. Again, we really appreciate those of you who are currently customers. Thank you for your feedback, requests. Our goal is to keep it very simple. We're limiting it to, in most cases, 3 buttons at the main login screen. And then there's this add-on function here. There's this add-on function here that you don't need it. If you don't need it, don't worry about it. There's no pressure to add on this subscription module at all. You can stay as is and continue doing everything through just this one little a single schedule. No problem with that at all. But again, if it is something of interest to you, you're a manufacturer with many shifts, you're dealing with part-timers, and you want to automate and schedule all of that, that is something that please speak to one of your Websdepot account managers, or even Ryan now and myself. We can take a note, and someone from our team will get back to you to tell you how that can get enabled, and give you even a more in-depth demo of this very powerful new area for multiple schedules that can get applied to employees. Again, thank you for your time, and I look forward now to answering all your questions. And please keep visiting our website as we do update features. There are some that we add in without really a lot of fanfare. Like now we're trying to let everyone know certainly about the custom schedules and shifts module, the custom questions manager, which has been very powerful, certainly in building questions and previewing what the form will look like. And finally, we will continue to add features. We may say no, or we may say 2 to 3 weeks, but please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, we're a very hands-on IT services company. We built this for our client base, and after the success and the need was quite clear for it, we opened it up to everyone else, really outside of our own client base now, and have enjoyed significant demand, and we hope it's really helping during these challenging times to keep your workplace a little safer for your employees and your customers. Again, thanks for your time, and we'll grab some questions now and take it from there. Thanks again.